Cool. Groovy. Okay, team. So here we are, 2024 goal setting. Um, who here writes their goals down? Anybody? Yeah? You write them
I
down?
do.
How specific do you guys get? Do you just say, hey, this is what I'd like to have happen? This is what I want to bring into my life? Or do you actually kind of like write out steps and action plans and measurables? Cool. I'll
I
take
don't
that.
know how you're asking. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we all do.
Good. I'm asking anybody who wants to chime in. So here what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to map out 2024 vision and we're going to establish at least Q1 targets for our goals. So this is just a quick little screenshot from the Google. And this is from Dr. Gail Matthews, a psychology professor at Dominican University in California, did a study with 267 participants. She found that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. That's pretty crazy, right? And just like anecdotally, everybody that I know that's done great things with their life and their business and all that tend to be avid journalers and just writing stuff down on a very regular basis. And so, what we want to do today is just kind of get into the habit, at least, of mapping it out, setting some milestones and some action plans for us to get there. So, we're going to create that vision, something that's measurable, that's realistic, that you can get excited about. And then I want to prime your minds with a little reflection exercise. So, what we're going to do is just think back over 2023, take some notes on that, and get ready to rock and roll for building out the new year. We're going to go over a framework for designing meaningful goals for your life and career. And then we're going to reverse engineer those visions into a simple plan of action. Okay. So, first things first, guys, let's just spend a few minutes here reflecting on 2023. So let's get your pen and paper handy. And I'm going to set the timer for a few minutes. And I want you guys to just think through, what were you grateful for? What are you grateful for in 2023? What were some of your wins for 2023? What were the biggest lessons that you learned in 2023? And what are you planning on doing differently this year? So let's just take 3 minutes and we'll write that down. About one more minute here, team. Grateful for biggest wins from 2023, biggest lesson that you learned, and what we're going to do differently this time around. Okay. So anybody want to share what they're one of the things they're grateful for? Maybe one of their biggest wins from last year?
I really stepped back from, I changed jobs in October of 22, and because of work-life balance issues, I was working like over 60 hours a week and never had anything to do but work, eat, and sleep. So
Right.
I was really grateful last year for the work-life balance I had, and being able to like spend more time with my family and focus more on my own health and my own like goals and dreams for life instead of just working all the time.
Yeah, right. And it's sometimes like we always hear that we want to work-life balance and but sometimes we have to experience it for ourselves of just like what that means when you have no life and it's just work and it's like no amount of money or power is worth just feeling like you're just an empty shell of a human who's just working for indefinitely, right? Anybody else want
Yeah,
to
for
share
sure.
a big win from last year? Um, I'll share one. So Tanya and I got engaged. So I'm officially engaged, which is crazy. So that's like, one of the never thought I'd be getting married, but here we are. So that's one of my big wins and also what I'm grateful for from last year. And also honestly just another great year with Carbon Fitness and, building this company up and kind of really honing in on who we are and, the company identity and really just being able to find that ideal client that we love to work with and continue to, create awesome plans for them. Really grateful for that. Biggest lesson I learned from last year is to stop trying to do so many damn things. Like I'm so super guilty of like having entrepreneur ADD and wanting to do this coaching program and then try this and then try this. And then it's like, you're spending so much time and money and you're just taking on too many things. And a lot of them were kind of half-baked ideas that, it's like, what a bummer. So my biggest lesson for sure last year is just dial it down a little bit. And then obviously for what I'm going to do differently this year is just focus on fewer things, but put more attention on them and really just plan on, following through on fewer things. So those are my big one. Anybody else want to share before we move on?
Yeah, I'll share. I got into grad school last year, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
So in case you
That
guys
was
don't know, Alex is a coach here and she's getting her master's in nutrition and you're going to be a dietitian, right?
correct.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
I benefit from that too.
that's be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on, team. Here we go. Okay. So here's what this looks like. Here's the roadmap for today. So first, we got our vision. We are going to then create some very specific targets, some measurable outcomes that support the achievement of your vision. Then we're going to set some milestones. So what do we need to be, what do we need to have accomplished by what date to know that we are on track for our vision, right? And for our targets. And then action plans, because vision without action is just a dream, right? Like cool. We all want to be rich and sexy, but if we don't actually like map out steps to get there, it's just a pipe dream. So this is the pyramid. Vision is what we're starting with, but if you'll notice, it's kind of the smallest piece. And then as with anything in life, action is the foundation of everything that we want to do and accomplish in our lives. And so we're going to create that vision, create targets, set milestones, and then create some action steps. Okay. So get your pen and paper ready. Here we go. We're going to spend a few months now. A few months, excuse me. A few minutes mapping out this vision that we have for ourselves in for 2024. So I want you to imagine that you wake up and it's January 2025. Okay, so 2024 has come and gone. Where do you want your life to be in 12 months from now? If you guys had your original consultation call with me, if you're a client, you know that I probably asked you, let's plan out where you want to be in a year from now, right? I'm a big believer in seeing it in our minds before we create it in reality. Otherwise, it's kind of like we're a chicken with its head cut off, just running around, putting out fires, but there's no structure. But if we see what we want, we write it down, we can start to align our decision making with the version of ourselves we want to become. And that is quite literally how we create our own reality. The business you want to create, the partner you want to attract into your life, the body that you want to have for yourself, it all has to start here first. And then we can start to create it into reality. So 1 year from today, guys, what are you most proud of? How do you feel when you look in the mirror? What are your energy levels like? What number does the scale say? What size clothes are you wearing? How's your self-confidence? How's the relationship with your significant other? And if you don't have a significant other, what is this potential partner like that you want to bring into your life this year? How do you show up for work? Confident? Do you feel like a hypocrite when you tell your patients that they need to get their weight down? Or do you lead by example and speak from truth because you've done the work yourself? What kind of a role model are you for your family? If you have children, do your children see a parent who eats well, works out, takes care of their health, and then therefore models it themselves? Or do they see a parent who orders takeout and sleeps in and it doesn't work out, right? How much money have you saved from getting in the driver's seat of your health and fitness and, getting your own meals prepared, right? So let's spend a few minutes here, and I want you to write this vision for the next 12 months down. About 2 more minutes, okay, guys? Go deep. Get detailed. Dream big. Paint that mental picture. See it, get that emotional reaction where you almost get teared up a little bit at the potential that you could create in just 1 year from now.
Hmm?
We'll take a shot there right now.
Cool.
I can't hear you, Vic.
All right, about 30 more seconds here, guys. So finish up your thoughts. Okay, that's the vision. You can absolutely come back to this later and finish it out, but that should be a good base for now. Okay, so moving on. So now we got our vision. So now we got to start setting some targets. Okay, so think of it as like the vision is imagination, it's creativity. But we can't stay in creativity forever. We got to take the ethereal and we got to bring it into the material. We got to bring it into real life. Okay. There we go. So what we're going to do now is we have this big vision for ourselves: healthy, confident, feeling more attractive, more money in the bank, just like all this amazing potentiality. Now let's go ahead and set real, tangible, measurable targets to achieve this goal. So how do we measure success? So let me give you an example. If I'm on a call with somebody and I say, what are your goals? And I say, I want to be healthy. Okay, fair. How do we measure that? How do we know if we're on track? Because one of the biggest mistakes I see is people just don't, we all want the same core things, right? Health, wealth, happiness. But how do we actually measure what that means? And so let's make it real tangible here. You want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, that's measurable. That's really easy to measure. We want to put on 10 pounds of muscle. We want to get off blood pressure medication. That's measurable, right? You're either on it or you're not. If you're off it, that's success. Lower your A1Cs, maybe. You want to have more energy. Well, how do we measure that? Well, do I wake up feeling great? Do I hit the snooze, right? Maybe we want to improve the relationship with our partner. So maybe we schedule a weekly date night. We can measure that, right? We did, out of 52 weeks, we went on date night 42 times. You're probably going to have a better relationship at the end of the year with your partner if you did that, right? You want to walk 30 minutes every day. So write down your targets here, guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spend a few minutes. I want you to just brain dump. What are some targets? I want you to keep it super simple. This needs to be in alignment with the vision that you just wrote down. So on the one page, you have your vision. The next page, or at least under that, we have our targets. So let's just spend a few minutes here writing down measurable targets that are in service of that vision you want to create for yourself. Okay, guys? Maybe you already did that. that's cool. If not, take the time right now. A couple more minutes. Don't jump ahead and start trying to reverse engineer everything right now. It's more of a brain dump exercise of looking at your vision and then trying to write out a measurable for that. How do we measure success? Right? I want to make $100,000. Okay, how do you measure that? That's $8,000 a month, right? Or I want to have more money. Okay, well, what does that look like? Just kind of break down some action steps, some measurables for you to achieve your vision. But one more minute. All right, moving on. Okay, so we got our targets, we got our vision, we got our targets. Now we're going to narrow it down, right? Because not everything can be a priority. So what we're going to do now is we have our big brain dump where we put all of these measurables down that we'd love to see happen: date night, lose the weight and put on muscle and find a partner and feel happier, get off Medicare, whatever your thing was, right? So now let's go ahead and just narrow it down to your top three. So for example, top three targets: lose 40 pounds, prepare my own food 6 days a week, run a 5K, right? That would be like an example of top three targets that are in alignment with my vision for 2024. Okay. So narrow it down to your top three targets. I know it's hard. You got to kill your darlings, but we gotta prioritize a few things. Okay, so now we have our top three targets. And so now what we're gonna do, guys, are you guys with me on this? Am I moving too fast? Are you guys keeping up? How are we feeling here? Good? Patricia,
Great.
Amy, Jenna? Good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. All right. So we had our target brain dump. We narrowed it down to our top three now. Okay. These are our three big rocks that we're going after this year, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to create some milestones. So now what are the checkpoints along the way that you need to hit so that you can't miss your target? How do we make sure, how do we all but guarantee we're going to hit those targets? So we got to have checkpoints. We got to measure it. We got to know that we're on track. So here's how we would do this. We're going to pick one target. So just pick one of those top three. Okay. And you can go back and you can do the other two, but let's just pick one for the sake of time for this workshop today. So we're going to pick one of those targets off of your list, and I want you to write 3 to 5 milestones. So that way, you know, if you hit those milestones, you're going to make it. Let me give you an example. Let's say your target was lose 40 pounds. What are 3 milestones that we know if we hit, we are all but guaranteed to hit that goal? Milestone 1 would be 10 pounds per quarter. Okay, so if I say, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds, that feels daunting. That can feel like an insurmountable hill to climb, right? But if I said, hey, I want you to lose 10 pounds by the end of the first quarter of this year, more reasonable. Take it one step further. What if I said it's just 2.5 pounds a month? That seems fine. And then one more checkpoint would be about 0.6 pounds a week. That seems very manageable. So when you break these down, you chunk it down, as they say, you can take these very scary, unrealistic goals and break them into their steps. And all of a sudden it feels very doable. It feels very doable. So you take this scary thing out of your mind, you put it down on paper and you reverse engineer it. And it's like, oh, I can do that. Because what is 0.6 pounds as far as just a pure calorie number look like? Anybody want to throw it out there besides Alex? So there's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat, right? 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So if I want to lose 0.6 pounds of body fat per week, that's literally like 1,300 calories. So over the course of 7 days, I just need to be in a 1,300 calorie deficit over the course of 7 days. That seems very doable. That's like a couple hundred calories per day. That would not rock the boat. That would not disrupt your life. That wouldn't make you hangry and crazy-eyed and frustrated. It seems very manageable. But 40 pounds seems crazy, right? That seems scary. But like just shaving off a couple hundred calories a day doesn't feel that way, right? And so this is the power of reverse engineering your goals and getting ultra clear and specific, so that way you can demystify it, break it down, and feel confident with it. Okay. You guys got your milestones? Yeah. Moving on. Okay. So here's where we're at. We got our vision. Of the vision, we created our targets. Here are our top 3 targets. Of the targets, we created milestones, our checkpoints to know if we're on track to hit them. Now, last but not least, how do we know that we're going to hit our milestones? Well, we got to create some action steps. We actually have to break this down into a daily list of things that we need to do. You can check off that list, where if you're just doing that, you will hit your milestone. And then once you hit your milestone, you know you're on track to hit your target. And once you hit your targets, if you hit 3 of your targets, then congratulations, you've brought your vision for 2024 into reality, right? So this is the base of the pyramid now. This is the secret sauce, is your daily action plan. So target, for example, lose 40 pounds, milestones, 10 pounds by Q1, action steps. That where the nitty gritty, where the rubber meets the road, is I'm going to block off 3 30-minute workouts in my calendar every single week. I know some of you work nights. I know some of you work alternating schedules, 12-hour shifts. I know your schedule can feel very uncommon. And because of that, it can give you a perfectly reasonable excuse to not want to, get into this detailed of weekly planning, because your schedule can be a little crazy. But we can take it on a week-by-week basis and just look at it as like, well, what does this week look like? What does this next 7-day stretch? Forget 3 months from now. What does this week look like? And every week it might be a little bit different, but it's the aggregate of your efforts that equal success, not just like only having it being certain times or nothing, right? So anyway, so this would be an example of action steps: blocking off 3 30-minute workouts in your calendar each week, picking 3 recipes that you can make 3 to 4 servings of every single week, so that way you have all of your lunches and dinners ready, right? So in other words, going to the grocery store is great, but like my fiance, for example, I'm gonna totally throw under the bus right now, but like she likes to just kind of wing it. She likes to go to the grocery store, and it's almost like just like the act of being there is joyful for her. And she's just kind of throwing stuff in the cart, and then she brings it home, and a week later when it goes bad, I throw it away. but there's really no plan. And so what we want to do is we want to think about recipes, right? So now what her and I do is we go, what are we actually going to make this week? So go to the grocery store with a plan, right? Like, okay, what are the 3 recipes that we're going to make, that we can make 3 or 4 servings of each ahead of time. So that way, when we do our grocery shopping, we have the action plan, but then also when we open up that fridge, voila, we have all of our meals, our lunches and dinners ready to go, right? So this is the nitty gritty. This is the action plan that we got to do to make sure that we're on track to hit our milestones. So another one would be like blocking off 20 minutes a day for a walk, and then weighing in at least once a week to make sure that you are on track, right? So those are your action steps, guys. Go ahead and list out, if you haven't already, your 3 to 5 action steps. Okay, so let's go ahead and just review really quickly, and then I'll kind of go over some of my goals with you guys. So here's what we've learned today. Here's where we're at. So first thing we did is we listed out our vision for 2024, right? You guys dumped it all out there. Who is this person that you would love to bring into the new year? Then we created actionable targets, because a vision without action is just a dream, it's a pipe dream. So we laid out some things that we can measure, some targets, some measurables, right? And then we narrowed it down to our top 3, and then we created milestones from that, right? So how do I know I'm on track? What are the checkpoints I need to hit in order to make sure that I hit my targets? And then of those milestones, we then created our list of action steps. Okay. So I'm going to ask one or two of you to share with me something that you feel comfortable. Don't feel like you have to, but if you're open to it, what are your action steps? What are some things that you guys need to do every single week, maybe even every day, so that way you know that you're on track? Who would like to just jump in really quickly and just share something? No worries, I'll share. How about that? So for me, let's go over to my goals here. Okay, so I want to grow Carbon Fitness Method to 200 active clients. All right, great. So then what are my milestones? So I need to be at 150 by June, 175 by October, and then finish the year out at 200. So those are sort of my milestones. Those are my targets, I should say. And so those are also my milestones. So then what are my action steps, right? So for me, that would look like I have to hit certain key performance indicators on our marketing. I need to make sure that we're fulfilling our clients well, so that way they don't quit, so they stay on board. And so there's certain key performance indicators with my coaches that I need to make sure are being met as far as like attrition rate. So if we can keep our attrition under 10%, we're doing really, really well. Right. So if we have 150 clients and less than 15 are leaving every month, that's a really good indicator that we're growing as a business, for example. Okay. I want to launch a YouTube podcast, like a video podcast. In fact, we recorded our first episode yesterday, which is really exciting. And so the guy that I'm doing with, Ethan, him and I have a monthly or a Monday brainstorming session where we just map out show ideas for that week. We have a Wednesday huddle where we review what we discussed on Monday. And then on Thursdays, we blocked out 90 minutes to record, right? And so those are my action steps every single week in order to bring this into reality, right? So these are my goals. I want to get a couple more rental properties this year. I've been studying Spanish for 4 years. I'm pretty good. I would say I'm probably like solidly intermediate, but I would love to reach advanced intermediate Spanish this year. Build 10 pounds of muscle, my lifelong goal. That is I'm still fighting for it. Grow Instagram to 10,000 followers, and then just wake up before 6. So those are some of my goals for 2024. Anybody want to share one of their goals? You guys are big sharers, I can tell. No? Don't worry about it. So
I'll share.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
I posted my first photo picture, which was at work, like, a couple weeks ago, and it's probably shows like my weight, like really heavy. And so I want to take a new picture in 2025, just look like as what I visioned myself to look like, instead of being like, I'll throw myself on, out there, double XL, I want to be like size medium. And so that is one of the things that I want to do. And then encourage more people, more nurses that we have working with us to do the same, like maybe get 10 more people that I work with on board to do the same thing. So it's not just for me. I want more people that we work with to be able to do this. So I would say get at least 10 other nurses on board with doing this in 2025.
Hell yeah. Yeah, lead by example, right? And I think that's one thing that people don't realize is that when you do something like this and you go from, in your case, right, like a double XL to a medium, whether you intend it or not, you are a leader, an unintentional leader, because people see it and you're going to inspire people to also take action. And so it's like you are going to be a positive influence for so many people by creating that vision, creating the target, right? So the vision is that picture. The target is the close size. The milestone is maybe by the end of Q1, we're only 1x, right? And then the action steps are hit that walk every day. Block off time in your calendar for your workouts so that way you can't miss it. Pick your recipes for the week, right? Those are your action steps to keep. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So final thoughts, guys. Take ownership, okay? You're in a coaching program right now. You're getting help, you're getting organized, you're getting on the right track, but eventually nothing lasts forever. You're going to be on your own. And so you have to really look at this as like, take ownership. Don't be a program hopper where the only time you're ever on track is when you're in some sort of a program, but then as soon as you're out, you gain it all back. Like take ownership, be in the driver's seat, create that autonomy so that way you are your own coach. And so that way you have this identity with who you want to be. So no matter where you find yourself in life, it's a system and a framework you can fall back on, right? Another big thing, guys, is you got to block it off in your calendar. If it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. Okay. Like I live out of my Google Calendar, everything from just like focus time, even if it's outside of office hours, I'll still block off 6:30 to 7:30 every morning as like deep focus work. Not because I don't want to get over scheduled, because no one's going to book an appointment with me at that time. It's just for me to see it visually, to remind me that that's the commitment that I've made. So every one of your goals, every one of your action steps, every one of your milestones, put it in your calendar, make it real, make an appointment with yourself that's non-negotiable. So if it's got to be Thursday at 3 p.m., put it in your calendar so no one else can book that, right? That's your time for yourself. And then we got to review. So spending 10 to 15 minutes a week, it doesn't need to be a crazy amount of time, but just, reflect, where are we in pursuit of our goals? 15 minutes, I like a Monday morning to kind of set the tone for the week, but anything will work. But just schedule recurring reflection times. So that way you can really think like, am I actually on track or have I drifted? And if you have drifted, pull yourself back in, right? And having that scheduled reflection time is that way to keep you in parameters. And then lastly, guys, create your own reality. I know it can be hectic. I know it can be out of control. All of us work in healthcare to some capacity, and it can really feel like you're being pulled in a million different directions. But you get to decide what you bring into your life this year, right? If you visualize your goals, and you visualize the life you want and you write it down, you block off time every week to work on it, then you are directly creating your own reality and therefore your life. However, if you don't, and you burn through every day and you just put out the fires and you only tend to what's urgent and never to what's important, then life creates your reality for you, right? So be the master of your domain, spend a little bit of time every day and every week prioritizing the action steps in order to get to your goal. And there's no doubt in my mind that will get you to your vision. Okay. Any questions, guys? How we feeling here?
I think the structure was helpful. So I'm looking forward to like thinking on it longer and really planning it all out in detail.
For sure. Put it into action, put it into action, put it in your calendar, put your milestones in there. Where do I need to be at the end of the month, the end of the quarter? Let's make it real. Let's really do it this time. Okay, team. Thank you guys so much for coming. I love seeing you all, and catch you guys next time. Okay.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.